I would like to invite DTM Vijayalakshmi to come forward and take the stage.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Good evening, Emerging Leaders Club. It's an amazing feeling to be here. Thank you so much to Ashok sir and to the VP of this club for the invite. Okay, so today's session is going to be about tips, tricks, and techniques on the evaluation contest. First, before we start today's session, how many of you are intending to compete in this year's contest? Show of hands. This year's evaluation contest? Only 2 of you? Okay, let me just put it in the calendar view. 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6. End of the session, if I could see more hands for the very same question that I'm going to ask at the end of the session, I think my job today is well done. So let's kickstart today's session. The evaluation contest preparation, some simple tips, tricks, and techniques that I have used. It worked, so I'm going to share it with you all. Okay, so let's quickly start. When it comes to evaluation contest, especially, there are a lot of myths around the contest. There are people who come and ask me, Vijay, can I contest? Who can evaluate? Am I eligible to contest? When you have this question, Vijay, can I evaluate? I just joined Emerging Leaders 3 months ago. I joined only 1 week ago. Can I participate in the evaluation contest? Yes, you can. Almost anyone can evaluate and participate in the evaluation contest, because to be a contestant in the evaluation contest, you only need to be a paid member. That's all. Okay, so you can participate in the evaluation contest. You might have a very limited evaluation experience, yes, but imagine this: when we see a movie for the first time, or even now Netflix, Amazon, or anything, we quickly share our reviews with our friends, isn't it? We say, oh, the hero introduction was good, but the climax was not so good. Oh, the plot was very loosely packed. Yeah. It was very predictable story. We say all these things about movies, don't we? Right? So that's the same kind of an approach we have to have when we are evaluating a speech, because 99% of the times, the speeches are all about stories. Speeches are all about stories. So if you can evaluate a good story, you can definitely turn out to be a good evaluator as well. So if you are having the myth, can I evaluate? My answer to you is yes, you can evaluate. The other one is speech evaluation is extemporaneous, which if you have to think on the spot and evaluate the the test speaker, yes, you have to. However, a little preparation will definitely come in handy. What kind of preparation we will see in today's presentation. And finally, should I focus on the content or the delivery, Vijay? Focus equally on both the content and the delivery of the test speaker while you are evaluating. Now, having broken few myths here, let's jump start to today's some of the do's when you're evaluating. Be very truthful. Very truthful. When I say this, it means don't over exaggerate or over glorify the speaker. Have you heard this when there is a normal icebreaker speech? When I say normal, I'm only saying there is no wow factor to it. Okay, the person simply talked about the hometown, hobbies, about the family, and so on. That's it. Simply what is needed in the icebreaker speech. There's no wow factor to it. But the evaluator, while taking the stage, immediately says, that was the fantastic speech I've heard in my entire life. And you have this question, have you even heard any good speeches or not in your life? Don't you? Right? So that is putting your evaluator credibility for a toss. So don't over glorify the speaker and say, oh, super, out of the world, this, that, and all. If the speech is really good, say it is good. Else, don't over glorify the speaker or the speech. Do it, don't say it. Very, very important for the contest. As an evaluator, it is not just enough if we point out the suggestion areas, we should also tell them how to do. For example, today's speaker, Srivatsan, you had a brilliant speech. However, I would recommend you to have a better eye contact. In your next speech, Srivatsan, I want you to try and divide the room into 4 quadrants. Look at one person in each quadrant. When you do that, I'm sure the audience, and me included, would feel connected to you. I told Srivatsan what went wrong, which is eye contact. I also told Srivatsan how to do it. right? So that's the correct way of doing an evaluation. It is not just enough, I just tell Srivasan, improve your eye contact. If he knows that, he would have already done that in this project, no? So that means he didn't know that. So as an evaluator, I should tell him how to do it better, right? So don't just say it, what went wrong, also do it and tell them how to do it better. Structure your evaluation. Can someone quickly unmute and tell me, what is the structure of a speech? What is the speech structure? 3 main components.
Opening,
Mm-hmm.
body,
Closing.
conclusion.
Yes, thank you, Vijay Kumar sir. Opening body and the conclusion, right? So beginning body and conclusion are the structure of a speech. In evaluation also, there is definitely a structure to be followed. What is that structure, Vijay? We will see in the following slides. Personalize your evaluation. Never ever speak for the audience. You might have heard evaluations where evaluators say, the audience were enjoying your speech. The person next to me was laughing. The audience definitely connected. Don't speak for the audience. Evaluations are very personalized. What you felt about this speech. So always start with what I felt about this speech. I felt today you could have done that. I felt today I have this suggestion for you. Right? It is always I, and don't speak for the audience. Don't say me. Some of the don'ts quickly. Do not compare previous performances. Mathur Sridhar sir, I know you for the past 10 years. You are an amazing speaker. Today's speech was no excuse. You did brilliantly. No. Do not compare any previous performances of any speaker for that matter. Don't have contradicting recommendations and commendations. Very, very important. Hear me out and tell me. Toastmaster Vijay Kumar, today's speech was extraordinary. I love the way how you used your stance, the poise, and your body language. I just have only one specific recommendation for you. Use the stage wisely. Okay, use your body movement to displace a different timeline on the speech. I told body language was very good in the commendation. I'm also telling to improve body language in the recommendation, right? Which is contradicting, right? When you say something very good in commendation, you can never ever recommend the same thing in your recommendation. So do not have contradicting commendation and recommendation. Okay, don't be too harsh. Don't be I want to give whitewash evaluation. Don't have only gushing praise as well. Those are some of the don'ts. I'm just quickly going through the presentation because we have time at the end for the Q&A. So park your questions whenever you have any. Remember, I told you there is a structure for evaluation. I coined this 4S structure. You can coin your own way to remember this. Start, strengths, suggestions, summarize. 4S, start, strengths, suggestions, and summarize. Start your evaluation is a very good quote or a starting fact, just like how we do in a speech, or anything that will applaud or appreciate or comment the speaker. Then go for the commendations in specific. Today, I find 3 commendable job that you have done, or here are the top 3 things in your speech today, Toastmaster Srividya. Right? Number 1 is this, number 2 is this, number 3 is this, commendations. However, every speech has a room for improvement. Here are my 2 specific suggestions for you today. Number 1 is this, number 2 is this, suggestions. Summarize. Summary carries 15 marks in the judge's ballot. It carries 15 marks in the judge's ballot. So do not forget to summarize. Use the word summary. Overall, in summary, or to summarize, something like that. And then say, you have a good body language, a very good content, and an amazing message. If you could work on the pause and have a better eye contact, I'm sure this speech is a speech worth remembering. That's a full summary. Okay, so don't just say overall it was a good speech. No, when you're summarizing, make sure you have points from your commendation and recommendation. Have a proper complete summary. So remember the 4S technique. This is something that I coined, so you can have a better understanding. You can coin your own. There is a structure for evaluation: beginning, commendations, recommendations, and summary. Okay. There are a lot of techniques. Why are we using techniques, Vijay? Because say there are 10 contestants in a contest, okay, and you are the 6th or the 7th contestant. high chances that people who spoke before you already told the same points that you wanted to say to the speaker. Yes. To be a standout contestant, you should have something extra, something special in your speech, in your evaluation. Here are some of the techniques. These are not mandate, these are just suggestions that you can use to bring in a variety, to be that standout contestant in your evaluation. What are those? Number one is proven time-proven and well-received technique is the sandwich technique, which is also called the CRC, comment, recommend, comment. You start with a good commendation, have a small recommendation, again summarize with a good commendation. CRC, comment, recommend, comment. Like how the sandwich bun is. The top layer is thick, so have more commendations. Say 3 commendations. This is good, that is good, this is good. Have a very thin slice in between the filling. Recommendation should be less than the commendation. So have only 1 or 2 recommendations. And finally, in the summary, again, loaded with commendations so that the speaker feels positive and will come back to the club. Okay, CRC technique, comment, recommend, comment. I used a simple sandwich technique for the district contest and I was able to win the district. So don't underestimate the power of a sandwich technique. If you use it with the right words, that will be your winning score. The HSF technique, heard, saw, felt. What I heard in your speech today, Toastmaster Srinij, is you had an amazing body language. The content of your speech was good and so on. What I saw today was your gestures were very appropriate to the content that you are speaking. And every stage movement was well planned and it added more drama to your speech. What I felt today is you had an absolute purpose and you drove the message to me. And the final call to action, yes, I am going to be an organ donor today. So what you saw, what you heard, what you felt, you can just rearrange this in any way that you want. Felt, saw, heard, or heard, saw, felt, however. But in general, we say it's a HSF technique, heard, saw, felt technique. Very simple, easy to use, yet can give you a score over the others during contest is the analogy or the metaphor or the theme-related evaluations. If a speech is given and you think you can come up with a very good metaphor or an analogy that can be used in your evaluation, that will be your winning score. For example, listening to your speech today, DTM Mathur, was like planning for a vacation. When I plan for a vacation, I first plan for the destination. And I'm very sure in your speech today, while planning for this speech, you wrote your message first. What did I do? I'm simply drawing parallels to planning for a vacation to Mathur sir's speech. Right? You can just, it can be a wedding, it can be taking a role in the XCOM, it can be anything, as long as you can relate it to the content. Yes, no, maybe, show of hands. Okay. Theme reference. Once there was a speaker who spoke about go green, okay, avoid plastics, plant more trees and all that, for which the evaluation started something like this. DTM Mathur, you have reduced unwanted stage movement, reused vocal variety, and recycled our enthusiasm. So what did the evaluator do? Just use the principle of go green, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle, and brilliantly came up with this amazing introductory lines. And of course, that got him the winning trophy, right? So if you know you can use something appropriately for the content, for the evaluation, that will be your winning score there. Yeah, brilliant. The acronym technique. Now, many people are using this acronym technique. You might have heard this, people use this during the division stages, district stages. So what's an acronym is nothing but a short form. When the title is very small, you can go for the acronym. So once there was a speaker who spoke on the title diet, spoke about nutritious food, balanced food and all that. So the evaluator evaluated on diet itself, D-I-E-T. D for delivery, I for information, E for entertainment, and T for transition. Now you may ask me, Vijay, I have not used acronym technique at all, but this sounds good. This sounds like super techie and all that. I wanted to use this. How do I prepare myself for an acronym technique? Now, if I have to ask you, quickly unmute and please tell me, If you have to name something that starts with the letter C, that you can use during evaluating a story. For example, character. What other things that will start with C?
Content.
Very good, sir. Content.
Clarity.
Clarity. Brilliant. Climax. Okay, what else?
Font size.
Yes, of course. See, for just one letter C, you were able to think and come with so many words that you can use during your evaluation, isn't it? Content, clarity, climax, conclusion, lot of things that starts with the letter C. In your free time, write words from A to Z, words that you can similarly use for each letter in the alphabet. And once you familiarize yourself with those words, you can coin any acronym for any speech. I have done this. It really worked, not on the first time, of course, but through the time, I think I've got the gist of it. It really works. So you need to be familiarized with the words for each letter. That's the clue, right? So for example, T here says transition, right? Sometimes we say, your story today transported me to a different world. We say that, right? So for T, you can also use transportation. Here it says transition. I, it says information. I can also say I, invoking the audience. I like the way how you asked questions to the audience and you were able to invoke the audience. I for invoking the audience, right? So many words you can just Google and find out that you can relatively use during your evaluation. Kill the cliche. If there is one technique that can really help you score more than others, that is to kill the cliche. Always we use the same phrases. You had great eye contact, great body language, amazing voice modulation. Yeah, it's been beaten to death. Use some alternate words to say the same phrase. Tell me which one sounds better. Number one, your pauses were in place. Or you had the 3-second pause just before your message where your eyes spoke and your audience froze. Which sounded better, one or two? Two is a bit dramatic, yes, but you need that dramatization and performance during the evaluation contest, right? So don't use just the cliched phrases, go for the alternates. Again, be very specific, don't give general comments. For a 7-minute speech, if I come and say, Toastmaster Vijay Kumar, I love the pauses that you had in the speech. 7 minutes, I had so many pauses. Which one are you talking about, right? All the pauses it means, right? That's very generic. But when I'm going to say that 3-second pause before your final message is the one that really strikes the chord with me. I'm being very specific on which pause, right? Always as an evaluator, go for the specifics. Don't go for a generic comment. Yeah, perfect. Very, very important to know the contest ballot because you should not miss on any points on the judges' ballot. So know how the judges are scoring you. Analytical quality carries 40 marks on the evaluation ballot. How well you can analyze the speech, know the message, understand the organization of the speech, all of that comes under analytical quality. Your recommendation, which is very, very important. Remember, don't just say it, do it. So what do you recommend? Is it really apt connecting to the speech? Will it really improve the speaker? That carries 30 marks. Technique, any technique you can use. Even if you don't use any technique, if you use a common recommend comment, it is understood by the judges that you're using a sandwich technique. Or if you're using any exclusive techniques, then go and say, today I want to evaluate you, Srividya, based on an acronym technique called DIET. D for this, I for this, E for this, T for this. Yeah. And finally, summary. Remember, summary carries 15 points. Don't just say overall it was a good speech. Please have 3 words from the commendation, 3 words from the recommendation. There are a lot of things that we are super worried, especially during contest. Here are the top 3 things the contestants said they are worried about. So I wanted to share it with you all. The judging criteria. Don't be worried about the judging criteria. You know the judges' ballot now. You know what marks are given for what. Try your best to achieve maximum score in each parameter. That's it. It is decided by TMI. We cannot change any parameter here. So just go with the ballot. Don't worry about the judges. I know this Vijay Kumar has a grudge on me. He called me for one of the club contests. I didn't come. I think he is going to score me less for that. No, judges are well trained to put past performances behind and they will score you only for today's performance. They are well trained. Just trust they will do their job. You do your job, which is to evaluate better. And finally, don't worry about your co-contestants. Oh, Srivati has been in the club for 10 years. Madhushrija sir has been in the fraternity for 20 years. How will I compete with them? No. Today, this 3.5 minutes is your time. Use it wisely. Don't be worried about your co-contestants. Yeah? Get knowledgeable areas. Know the judging process. Be sure how you're evaluated, how many marks for each parameter. Very, very important. Make notes in every club speech. You can share it with your speaker at the end offline. You need not even be the evaluator. What does this do is you are familiarized with different speech types. Humor, roast, toast, acceptance, lot of speeches. So be familiarized with different speech type because you don't know what your test speaker is going to speak, right? Avoid reading notes. It is absolutely okay to have notes during evaluation contest. You all know that, right? So which means you can have a paper or a notebook or whatever, a paper indeed. So you can have the paper like this during the speech when you're evaluating. So it is absolutely okay to have the paper. No extra points are given if you don't use paper. No marks are reduced if you use the paper. Okay, so it is absolutely okay. Judges are briefed. It is a part of the rule, so don't worry. The only catch here is don't read every word from that paper. It will be like news reading. Okay, be confident and probably just glance the points on your paper rather than reading every point verbatim from the paper. Yeah, have the paper. It's absolutely okay, no problem. Timing really, really matters. It's heartbreaking when you do an amazing evaluation and you be time disqualified. Okay, so make sure you finish your evaluation by 3:25, which means while you're practicing, you should always have a stopwatch and do the evaluation. Finish always between 3:20 to 3:25. Don't go to 3:28, 3:29. You will not know when the timer is actually switching it off. Okay, give that 5 seconds here and there extra time. Evaluate everything. This really, really worked wonders for me. Evaluate everything. Everything is available on the YouTube. The past district speeches, past world championship speeches. Evaluate everything. That will give you a very good understanding of the different speech types and you will be familiarized with unfamiliar speakers. Finally, here's the summary. Personalize your evaluations. Remember what you felt. So always say I, not we. Do it, don't say it. As an evaluator, find out what needs to be recommended. Also tell them how to do it. Structure your evaluation, follow the 4S structure. Do not contradict your commendation recommendation. You cannot say super eye contact, improve your eye contact. Yeah, it is very contradicting. Time your evaluations. If there is one proven technique that will make you win, that is practice. Practice, practice, and practice till you become super confident of what you're saying and what you're doing. And that is my tips, tricks, and techniques to win the evaluation contest. So let me ask the question to you all again. Who is willing to contest in this year's club evaluation contest? Am I seeing the same hands only? Subramani sir, what happened? Okay, all the best. Thank you. Good luck to all of you. Timer, where are we on the time?
Amber, I guess.
Green. Okay, so we have questions now quickly. Can I open the floor for questions?
Yeah, hi, DTM Vijayalakshmi. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Do we have to practice for evaluation contest? Generally, our mindset is, what do I have to practice for TT contest? What do I have to practice for evaluation contest? Do we have to practice? If yes, how do you practice?
Very good question. Yes, I practice for an evaluation contest. That's what I told you. Though it is extemporaneous, it's good to practice. What I practice is, I keep handy few good quotes. Because at that time, I don't know if I can really come up with a good quote. So always I have practiced 4 quotes at least, and I keep it ready. So whichever quote is applicable, relatable, that is the quote that I will use, obviously. So have at least 4 quotes ready. And these are some of the techniques that I shared with you. Those are the ones that I've already tested, tried during club evaluations. So when I do that evaluation, I know which one really worked and which is the ones that I'm really stuck at. So I will pick out the technique that I know for sure I can crack it, and I will use it during the contest. So whatever I've used during contest is not something that I use it for the first time. It is something that I've already tested and tried during club evaluation. So if you are asking me, should I practice? Yes, you should. I watch a lot of other videos like roast, toast, past district speeches. Thank you, Diana. Past district speeches. So I will get a speech variety. I would have evaluated a humorous speech. I would have evaluated a technical speech, a persuasive speech, and all that. So I know what speech type, what to look for in that speech. So that really opens up a lot of possibilities for me to evaluate the correct speech on the correct occasion. Did I answer you?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Any other question quickly?
DTM Vijayalakshmi, can you please give me another example for don't do it? Just that point, can you please give another example?
Okay, usually evaluators say this went wrong, isn't it? You have to improve. Let's say, for example, okay, your speech was on and on and on. I was not able to understand correctly. I wish you had given pauses everywhere. Okay, I'm telling you this. I'm only telling you to implement pause. How will you implement it without me telling you how to do it? Right? So I will tell you next time when you write the speech, for every speech, wherever you want to pause, put a comma. When there is a comma in your script, it's a 1 second pause. Whenever there is a full stop in your script, it's a 2 second pause. You're getting what I'm saying? So when you write with the written script, you will read it that way, right? Today is Friday, full stop. So today is Friday. From yesterday, I have been wondering, comma, so 1 pause. What to do today, full stop, 2 pauses, right? So for every comma, one pause, every full stop, 2 pauses. So that in that way, when you practice your speech, I'm telling you, you can do better. You will not be super duper in the next speech itself, but this will take some time, but this will definitely come handy for you for your future speeches. So I only told you how to do it. Sorry, I not only told you what went wrong, which is to improve on the pause. I also told you how to implement pause in your speech.
Not to specify, pinpoint only the mistake. Instead, you have to add the value to the mistake.
Exactly. How to do it.
Explain.
Exactly. Because already pause, you would have already done this in the speech itself, right? You're doing that only because you didn't know that. So I have to tell you how to do it. That's all.
How to do it. Okay.
Any other question quickly?
DTM Vijayalakshmi, could you share us that presentation? What you have used?
If you can really excuse me, actually I'm tweaking this presentation every now and then because I'm doing umpteen workshops. So I'm actually not sharing the presentation. But if you ask any question from the presentation post this session, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Okay.
DTM Vijayalakshmi, I have one question.
Yes.
So when the speaker delivers the speech, right, be it contest or be it in the club speech, they go in their own pace, right? So as an evaluator, how do I know which point I have to note down, or because obviously I tend to forget. If I am the 10th evaluator in a contest, I may forget some important point also. So any tips?
So when you are always given a pen and a paper, sir, you can take notes during the contest. Correct. So what I do is when the speaker is speaking itself, I will make notes, which I call the rough draft. So in today's story, for example, Mathur sir's speech, I will write 2-year-old child, red ball, green ball, action, abstract, all of these words. I know what he's saying, but I will still take notes, right? This will be my rough draft. After the speaker is done, you will be given 5 minutes to prepare your notes for the evaluation content. In that 5 minutes, from this rough draft, whatever I've taken notes during the speech, I will prepare my presentation. So commentation, I'll write 3 points. What was super good? The points about abstract was good. 1. The way he demonstrated was good. 2. 3. The easy use of language. 3 commendation, I wrote it based on the rough draft that I wrote during the speech. Whatever recommendation. So you have to take notes during the speech so that you don't miss on the, especially character names in a story, the place name during the story, message, which is very, very important. Sometimes sonna message onna irukum, nama interpret panna message variya irukum. We'll be saying absolutely some other message to the audience. That is totally wrong. So whatever message the speaker said, அப்படியே verbatim we have to write it so that we can reproduce it. Thank you, time out. Can we go over just one more question, one final question? So Vijay Kumar sir, did I answer you? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So take notes during the speech, use it as a rough draft, and then finally during the 5 minutes preparation time, go for your commendation recommendation. Other time use your quote fixing, your opening, your summary lines. Everything you can prepare in that 5 minutes. Keep your paper ready. When you are coming to speak, throw that rough draft paper. Keep this paragraph with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
One final question, quickly.
Lakshmi, I have one question. If somebody want to ask, they can ask. If not,
Looks like no one is asking. Quickly. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
see, in that CRC technique, I have seen many people do the C part, first C very well. The R recommendation also very well. And some of them summarize also very well. But when it comes to time management for the second C, time management for the second C, that is where I see most of us miss that part. So how do you manage time with respect to
Thank you for asking that question. And not only for the final C, but for all the three, I'm telling you, when it is green is when you will finish your commendation and move to recommendation. Green to yellow, you will move from commendation to recommendation, right? So from yellow to red, you will go for the recommendation part. You will explain everything. Red means you have 30 more seconds. So 30 seconds, 20 seconds easier, you can just summarize. Overall, you had a good body language, vocal variety, and a good message. Just work on the pause and the stance. I'm sure you will have an amazing, or you'll be an amazing speaker, something like that. It'll only take 10-15 seconds actually. Even if you're a slow paced speaker, it'll take maximum 20 seconds to do that summary, right? So the idea is this: green to yellow, before it turns green to yellow, you should have finished commendations and moved to recommendation, because recommendation you should say and then demonstrate also how to do it. So it'll take more time. So before red, start your summary. By the time you'll be definitely able to finish. So when you practice, make sure you are in this timeline so that you never go overboard. Yeah. Okay, so my number is with the VP of the club. Please feel free to contact me in case of further queries. Thank you so much for being amazing audience today. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here. Good luck to all of you. May the best win in your club contest. Thank you, and back to you.